Am I the asshole for keeping memories from past relationships? I already don't like the sound of that. Hey guys, my boyfriend and I live together. I have a shoebox that is full of old gifts and pictures from my exes. Nothing steamy, just selfies together, pictures of them, Polaroids, necklaces they gave me. So I'm assuming these are multiple exes, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I kept it with my other shoe boxes that actually contain shoes that I never look at, but I keep those things around just because those are still big parts of my life, and I'd like to have those things to look back on when I'm an old lady and remember the things I've done and the people that I knew. I have some pictures and stuff from platonic friends in there too. Anyways, this morning my boyfriend is rearranging our closet, and I guess he realizes that the shoebox doesn't feel like it has any shoes in it, and decides to snoop through it. He opens it up and immediately sees that it's full of my ex's things. I was asleep when this went down, but when I woke up, he was being very short and cold with me. Short and cold with me. That's an interesting way of describing someone's...
Quick responses. Like yes,
okay.
no, blah, blah.
All right.
That's the executive grammar. Yeah.
That's the Oxford Dictionary.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay.
Got it.
I love it. Later, he's all, so I was cleaning out the closet and I found something interesting. And he brings up the box to me and says that he doesn't understand why I would want to keep those things around. And I say that I don't even look at it from time to time, or I don't even look at it. And he insists that I should get rid of it. I should get rid of the stuff from my exes because it makes him uncomfortable. Sorry, that was a hard sentence.
It's all good.
I get upset and I say it makes me uncomfortable that he was snooping through my stuff and that I wasn't getting rid of any of it. He said that I was being selfish, and how would I like it if he did the same thing? I told him I wouldn't care because I don't look at them actively. It ends with him saying that I'm being too inconsiderate and that he can't believe me, and I got angry and told him that if he's upset about it and he's not as mature as I thought, because it's not a big deal. Okay, this person has some vocabulary. Now it's nighttime and he's just got home from playing video games at his friend's house and he's still being distant. Now I've had some time to think about it and I feel like maybe I invalidated him or maybe I was being a little selfish. I don't know. I don't miss my exes and want nothing to do with them. But I want to have something to remember everything I've been through. Am I the asshole?
That's interesting.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I don't think she's the asshole.
Talk about it.
Because it's not like she has a track record of talking to her exes or missing them. Like, he did his own snooping to find things that meant things to her and was like, what is this? And he kind of jumped to his own conclusions, right? The reason why he feels uncomfortable is because he's assuming that she is still associating a lot of the feelings that were involved at the time that she got these things from her exes, that she's still secretly kind of in love with them or in a way have feelings for them, right? But to that point, I think that speaks more to his own insecurity, thinking that he is always battling for his constant, like, am I the one who she's actually looking at or looking for or has feelings for? Am I just a temporary person while she keeps these things for the other person to come back? I think these are his own insecurities that he's facing, that he's placing on her, that it isn't fair. And she kind of said it, like, I don't miss them. I don't talk to them. You have no proof. Like, I have no track record of having any interaction with these guys. But I still do, like, have things from these point in my life because they mean something to me. This was important to 20-year-old me. This was important to 18-year-old me. Like, although it may not mean, I said this in the past episode, although it may not mean as much as it means to me back then, there's still important mementos in my life that I hold dear to. And I think that's really cool, you know?
I disagree heavily.
Okay.
Get the flamethrower out. We're burning all of that. Are you kidding me? Exes in my house? In our house? No, I think she kind of explained it towards the end. She did invalidate him to some degree, right? Yeah. And I think it's more of a respect thing. You know, if he's if he's in the relationship as well, he's seeing that his partner is keeping sentimental items and keeping them away from him too. Mind you, he was rearranging the closet when he found the stuff, right? So I don't think he was just going in there saying, "What is this bitch on?" Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to that, I mean, in that sense, I'm looking at it like, why even keep this stuff? Even if you know that it could cause issues, why not be open about it at first? You know, like, oh, I have these things. These things I hold dearly to me. Like, why even keep it from him? That's kind of almost acknowledging that it's wrong in a sense,
Yeah.
and then for you to, kind of double down on the fact that his feelings don't really matter at that time. I think it was kind of pushback because she did kind of
Yeah.
internalize it later as they had their distance. But I think she was wrong. I think she was the asshole in this one,
Interesting. Okay.
in my opinion.
How about you guys?
They share a space.
Yeah.
They share a closet.
That's
the
This is a
impression.
good question.
Good question.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good
No,
question.
if it's that's a really good question.
That's the impression we're getting, right?
Let me see.
Is that they do share a closet.
Mm-hmm.
If they do, I'm assuming they do. If they do share a closet, do share space, she's the asshole for not saying this is what you may find in there. If he's coming in with his own emotions and she's asleep, so they can't express this is what I found right away, and he's building this up into his own head, why does she have selfies with these guys still? If it's just little charms and things like that, then that's one thing. The fact that she has selfies with all these people, and the fact that she has different mementos and Polaroids and things like that, that he's finding himself leaving in the closet that they share, then yeah, she's the asshole. Because I can see him building this whole thing up in his head.
Is it just the selfies?
Huh?
Is it the selfies for you?
It's the selfies most for me.
I'm with the throwing out the necklaces too. We getting rid of all that.
No, but that's not as
The
bad
box
for me.
too. The box itself.
It touched it. Right?
I don't want to see. I don't want to see Reebok in my house ever again after this day.
I'm wearing your box right
I'm
now.
sorry.
I said here
We're
too.
kicking it out.
No, but that's most of all is the selfies and the fact that like he had to find it himself in
Right.
a shared space.
Right.
Because if she found something of his in a shared space that would have shocked her, that would have made it worse than if she said, "Hey, this is in here. It doesn't mean nothing. We can talk about it now because I'm keeping it."
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, okay. So what comes up for me immediately, I think it's deeper in the sense of, I look at it as, okay, so how anxious are you of losing your partner and her not maybe validating you enough, or it's not, she does validate you, but you're not secure in that enough that you can see something like this. She even tells you verbatim, hey, yo, it really just is something that kind of reminds me of where, because she is having the conversation to say, it's things that remind me of how far I've come and so on and so forth and whatever have you. And we don't know. It could be people who she is no longer with and it was just like differences, or they ended in kind terms, or maybe they are kind friends or whatever have you. There's so much there that we don't know. But immediately I think with him is how when you're hearing this, when you're making this a big deal, which, to each their own, what else is going on for you in your mind that makes it so that, no, 100%, this is X, Y, Z in the third? Because I think, I recognize if I have a partner, they're going to have lived life. Maybe they'll have had partner. Oh, are you going to push back?
No, I agree with you.
No, and not only have they had lived life, but they're going to have had, I don't know, maybe some partners, whatever, were kind to them and it wasn't something, maybe they're still in touch and whatever, I don't know. And I want to be mindful of that. But I wonder, when I look at them both, also I can't say the A word, but when I look at them both, I can see both perspectives. I can see somebody who just wishes that their partner maybe showed up for them more and was like, you know what, I got you. It's not that deep for me. I'll throw it out. And I could see another partner being like, this doesn't negate my relationship with you. I'm here with you. But again, to each their own. I think right now what's happening is they're morally conflicted and their core values are in conflict. Because you can hear somebody say, no, when you're with me, you're with me. Okay, we let all of that go. And then when we see her, what we hear is, but that was a part of my life and it's a part of who I am. And again, we don't even know if they're like friends or if not friends, but whatever have you. So there's so much they're missing that I can't come to an absolute. So I just say, I think these two cannot be together. They have various different ways of understanding what a healthy, secure relationship looks like.
Interesting. So can I ask you, do you think that can be fixed for them?
So I think it'll be, so immediately, again, what comes up for me, mind you, I don't have enough data.
Of course.
Think, I look at him and I think, oh, okay, so he would need a partner who can validate their relationship all the time. and sees relationships similarly to him. And I think, when you have a partner like that, it's so important that there is an understanding of what does it look like for you to show up for me, to choose me, and whatever have you. But if somebody else says, like, I see relationships a little bit differently. I need my partner to trust me a little bit more. I can't be spoon feeding them all the time or negating my own of who I am and what I think security looks like. So no, I think these are these little things that show up later on, because it could look like she said, I'm making this up. It could look like she said, oh, I stayed a little later at work and I was hanging out with work colleagues. Was it guys? Which colleagues? I'm noticing you hang out with them 5 times and you didn't hang out with me this week, and maybe it was 2 times. Like, I just immediately, I'm starting to think like, when we have different understandings of what it looks like to feel secure in a relationship, because to each their own. Some people can say, I can have a long distance marriage and it works for them. And some people are like, no, 9 to 5, you better be home at 5. And it's like, but I finish work at 5, figure it out, So I wonder, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think their value systems are different.
100%. I agree with a lot that you said. Like, I personally think it's an insecurity that he has, that he thinks he's not fulfilling her. Because if she's keeping things around from past relationships, it's because I don't fill a void that maybe these guys filled, And maybe that's why you're keeping these things around, because you're keeping like a door open for if these opportunities ever come. I think, I'm not saying that's what he's thinking, but I'm on the fair belief that it's his own insecurities that are speaking.
Do you think that's valid?
Yes, I think it's valid, and I think it's worth talking about, and I think it's worth, addressing.
But
I
they
also
did address it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And I also
it
think
wasn't enough for him.
100%. But I think it's also work that he has to do to understand that at any point before that, she never gave him any indication that she wasn't there 100%.
Yeah.
If this is the one thing that you're bringing to the table, then what did everything that I do to build this trust with you mean in the first place? Is this how easily our trust was broken? If you think just these momentums of past me that not even current me kept ruins what I did for the past little while, I kind of think like he needs to do some work in order to feel more fulfilling.
I also feel like so there are people in relationships who genuinely don't mind. So somebody, let's say, I want to give you an example of, let's say, somebody with a secure attachment style and somebody with an anxious attachment style. And a perfect classic example is one where we know of as the guy who's at work, right? And he's at work and, he's in a meeting. His partner messages him, hey, what's up? Where you at? And he's in a meeting. Obviously, he doesn't have his phone. He can't see it. Okay, so you're mad at me now? So that's where we're at? Like, what did I do? What's going on? Okay, so 3 minutes passed. Okay, so we're breaking up now. So you're not coming home tonight? That's what's happening? Oh, okay, bet. Okay, a minute and a half passes. All right, bet. I dare you to text me back. Like, see if I'll respond. And then, this person, the partner comes back to his phone and he's like, oh my God, not 100 missed calls and 1,000 million texts. And then he calls the partner and he says, hey, hey, I'm so sorry. I was just in a meeting. Can you kindly forgive me? I'm here right now. I have all the time. I'm sorry that you felt that way. How can I show up for you in this moment? And then obviously now this person with the anxious attachment style, what happens is they feel regulated. Okay, my partner is here. It wasn't that deep. I'm okay. All they needed was that level of being validated, being heard, and secure. So let's call him secure and let's call her anxious secure. He was just like, I understand my partner. She was worried about me. These things, they happen. I just need to tell her, I was just in a meeting. I am thinking about you. I'm here right now, dedicating this time to you. What's up? And then my girl over here, let's call her anxious. She's calm now. So I think when deciding relationships, we all come in with things, and it's deciding, my partner won't be perfect, but are these things that I can hold space for, that I can handle? I'm wondering if this girl over here in the scenario that we're given is probably like, yeah, it's a no for me. Like, all of this is too much, because this is my life and I came in, accept me as I am, Mary J. Blige, And I'm wondering if he's better off with somebody who can just hold a lot of space for him.
Right.
Like a lot. And I'm telling you, when people love people and it's like real, the way that they move mountains for each other, it's I have seen it with my eyes. Okay. 2020 prescription. I've seen it. It's real. When we love people, I wonder, does she love him enough to inspire that change within herself for him? I wonder, a few
But
things come up.
but there is one thing.
Oh,
There's one thing that will switch my entire opinion
okay.
to make me on your guys' side. It's,
Oh, so assuming we're all on the same page?
I think right now it's
Okay.
I think
I
right now
love
it's 2v2.
this.
I think right now it's
And I
2v2.
love being on a team, you know?
Right of you.
I just
But-
love being on a team.
Yeah.
But I think there's
Yes.
one thing that will switch me. It's
Okay.
what's on the pictures. If they're wholesome, like pictures where it's just them, like her with her past
Mhm.
exes, just
But what's that mean?
very
I
happy.
wonder if this is about the principle.
Yeah.
that too. It's like it's a
Yeah.
respect thing.
Yeah, I
Like
think it's about
if
the
it's
principle
wholesome
here.
pictures where they're just like it's like a hug type of thing,
Mhm.
or if it's like very like interesting things that they did together,
Mhm.
like just to take a snapshot picture.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. They're memories,
But then why
like,
would you keep that?
memories worth keeping.
No, why
She
would
said
you keep
they're
it
just
from your
selfies,
spouse or
both.
your husband or
Maybe
your
he
partner?
knew that he was an anxious type of person and knew that he would feel this type of way.
You know, that's a perfect example. Sometimes, I know, not a perfect example. I meant the language I'd prefer to use is that's a wonderful perspective to throw in there. It could be that she knew her partner was heavily anxious.
Yeah.
Anxious people need a lot of love, a lot of validation.
Nice.
So I wonder if she kind of knew that she's like, I don't have the capacity to have to explain these things. They mean a lot to me. I don't want to negotiate them.
But
Mhm.
to, just to go back to the point,
Yeah.
if the pictures are disrespectful,
Mhm.
then it's crazy.
Mhm.
Like if there are pictures of like them doing weird things or pictures of like something that would disrespect the current relationship, and that could come in any shape or form. I'm not gonna put that out there, but anything that could disrespect what the union that they currently have, then I think that's worth throwing out. I think that's worth mentioning. You know?
Yeah.
But if it's like humble stuff, wholesome stuff, I'm cool with that.
It's in their shared closet regardless. And it doesn't sound like they're probably years in. It sounds like they're probably within a year.
Mm.
Does it say their age?
No, it doesn't say their age.
Doesn't say anything about. They're probably, let's say, a year and a half in of living together.
A year and a half of living together is a long time.
It's a long time, but you still have the past insecurities from other relationships. It's still present.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even like past insecurities from past
Yeah.
relationship, childhood traumas.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes relationships bring that out of us.
So regardless, no, the reason I said past relationship,
Mhm.
let's say you got cheated on.
Allah.
Let's say something else happened where these pictures are gonna set something off, and if she didn't want to deal with it, she didn't hide it well.
Yeah.
She left it in their where we're assuming they share a closet,
Mm-hmm.
and somewhere he could find it and he could get triggered, and she doesn't know that about him. She has had a smooth sailing in the relationships where she wants to remember.
Mhm.
That's still something you would have to bring up, and you have to say that this is present. Otherwise, regardless of what type of selfies it is,
Yeah.
in a person's mind, he's thinking, why are you holding on to this and not letting it go and keeping a clear mind for our future relationship?
Well, people have different ways to hold memories.
Exactly.
Like,
But
like everybody's different. Like some
Mhm.
people, like you, maybe you both, like to have that. Like like when you're sitting in a car chilling one day, just thinking about good times. Or maybe people just like to have a physical representation of awesome things that happen to them.
Mhm.
I know I'm that type of person. I like that's why my photo out camera, like my phone, I have like thousands of pictures.
Hmm.
And sometimes when I don't have Wi-Fi, just go through all those pictures. And I know those are
You're
memories.
scroll through the photo album.
Yeah,
kinda guy?
I love that. When I don't
I
have
hate
Wi-Fi,
his photo album. I hate it.
I have
Delete
He doesn't delete anything.
You don't delete photos?
I don't delete nothing, bro. I take pictures of
Nothing.
everything. Like first of all, I have a photo album of everybody important in my life and ugly pictures of them.
Yeah, he keeps receipts. I know. He keeps
Oh,
receipts.
yeah.
So
I have one of
unfair.
everybody here. Like
I have some, I have some
photo
of you
album.
though.
I know
No
you.
cap.
I know you, but I think I have way more than you.
No. I've been building up my stock, over the years.
You know, fantasy, I have like 1,000.
Oh man, it's over for that guy.
1,000 of mine. So
I
it's
hated
like,
the trend of you taking pictures of the guy that's taking a picture. You started that stuff.
I did, and I'm
And
proud of
Fantasy
it.
has continued that.
Proud of it, But to that point, everybody has different ways to remember things that are special to them.
Mhm.
And if that's her way, I don't think he is right to tell her how to express herself.
Mhm.
But of course, I think it's important that he vocalizes what's going on in his mind.
Yeah.
But I also think it's important that he sees work that he needs to do as a person and be like, why do I feel this way? Do I feel this way because I don't have something that I'm looking for from her? Do I feel this way because I don't feel something that I think I should? What's missing in me?
I kind of disagree with that though, and I kind of more so want to align with what Halima was saying. I think
Go
he needs somebody more like him,
Mm.
as opposed to doing work to get to his girl's level.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think he needs to understand this is important to me.
Mhm.
Like this principle, what I'm standing on here,
Mhm.
like my girl should not have she should not be holding on to items from past relationships. That's a standard of mine in relationships. So I think he needs to pursue someone that's more aligned in that sense, you know?
I don't think that's a deal breaker though.
I think it
Like,
could be.
That's a deal breaker to hold on to things that are not really relevant anymore.
But I think it could pile on to issues down the line. Like she was saying too, like he could be a serial texter. He could be, you know, creating scenarios in his head. Like this can be such a burden to him
Yeah.
that
Oh,
it
but
ruins the
Mohammed, something
relationship.
I think about as well is
Mhm.
like, I think, okay, somebody who could feel so gravely wronged by that, like violated, I think immediately, would you also feel violated by how she shows up in communities with other brothers? I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
Would he also feel violated by
Mhm.
conversations that she has with other brothers? I don't know.
Mhm.
Like, I start thinking about, is it a boundary for him? Does he see, okay, when you're a partner, you're in a relationship, do you move a type of way? Like,
Mhm.
how do you move in a relationship? Do you move like I do, where it's my partner, that's all I see, I don't talk to any other girls, like I immediately I just think maybe he
Mhm.
just needs to find somebody similarly to what you were saying, like is
Okay.
very much in alignment with what a relationship means to him, because
I just think you can work through it though. Like I'm not like if they had something great,
Mhm.
you know, I like to believe that you can work through things. I think just because something like a speed bump was hit, I don't think it's like worth like, okay, I'll find
You
something else.
sound like what she said right
Yeah.
now,
What do you mean?
where she said, I don't want to recognizing like this isn't that deep. To her, it wasn't that deep,
I don't
right?
mean deep, but I think it's something you can work through together.
Hmm.
Like I don't just because you guys hit
But it was
like a
very
big
deep for him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But talk about her. We can talk about her. Maybe down the pipeline, maybe it's something that she can move, you know? Like if it's really uncomfortable for him, like let's take it out of the house. Like I don't think it's big enough to be like I'm looking for somebody else just because we reach an agreement that
Mhm.
you and I don't agree on,
Mhm.
you know?
No, I hear you.
That's my thing. Like I always want to work a relationship, make a relationship work rather than start from scratch.
Right.
Unless it's like some toxic shit, you know?
Does
Well, this
calmer
is
head prevail? Sorry, go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
No, it's calmer head prevails. Like I like what she said at the end of the thing. She realized herself, said, "I shouldn't have. I didn't validate his feelings right because the person with the hot head, they're on something that
Mhm.
they believe and they already built something up.
Yeah.
It's on the person that's already calm at the moment to say like validate them, try to justify or not justify, try to make things clear instead
Mhm.
of brushing it aside and saying nah. Then that builds up to something else. And like they were talking about the texting and all the other stuff. If you don't address it at the first moment right, and you just push it to the side, what were you about to say?
No, I was gonna reiterate something that Halim was saying too.
You
Like,
guys, I feel so special.
no, because you're using great
Y'all be
language.
dropping gems.
You're
and you guys
using
pulling
great
from
language.
it?
You're up in our view count right
No,
now.
You're using
you're
great
so
language.
sweet. Well, you're so
Psychology
sweet.
and-
I'm hearing it from a psychological
sweet.
aspect. So, I think this is like you were saying, a clashing of core values, right? But my question is,
Mhm.
in a relationship, is that clash of core values almost inevitable to some degree? Is it going to come out? Is that a hill or a burden that relationships have to go through?
Mhm.
That's my question.
Okay, so here's the beauty about when your core values are in alignment. What happens is, so say perfect example is, let's even talk, what are our core values? Let's talk about that. So if my core value is faith and my core value is family, but my partner's core value is, let's say, money and not just money, but
Status?
ambition. Let's just say that. I want to say money and
Okay.
ambition. I'm making this up.
Mhm.
Well, so then and then I see things where it's like, family comes first, this is important. And it's like, no, I need to make money, right? And then it's like, but family comes first. This is important. Money is important. Like, we need
Mhm.
to make this money. And you're just kind of like, so, but then if our core values are similar, where it's like, say, I found a partner whose core values is faith and family, when we're having arguments, it's if the way that we understand things, and because core values allows you to help, your core values will be the very thing you'll use to anchor you to make decisions. So if our core values are the same, we can get to a place where we can understand each other. If both our core values is faith and we're using, let's say, the gaze of Allah to understand something, we'll get there. We will figure out the hurdle. We'll make sense of it, right?
Mhm.
If our core value again is family, we'll get there. Alhamdulillah, we'll figure it out because that's our anchor. We'll make sense. It'll be easy. But when our core values are not in alignment, we're doing this all the time.
Mhm.
But that's why sometimes we get here through chemistry. But then you get to this point where now I'm hanging out with you. Now I'm talking to you.
Mhm.
Now it's been 2 weeks, you know,
Mhm.
and you realize, okay, this is just literally the infatuation dies. It does. It will
Right.
eventually die. It's
Okay.
not enough to sustain it. You can have compatibility and chemistry, but
Mhm.
you cannot have chemistry over compatibility. It can't sustain itself.
Right.
It dies eventually. But then I'm gonna, pose the question of some people just want to be partnered.
Mhm.
They're not looking for depth. They just want to be partnered and in
We
a
actually know
relationship.
somebody like that, right? I'm not gonna say their name, but we actually know somebody like that who they always want to be in a relationship,
hmm
regardless of
hmm
the type of connection that
And they're
is.
honest about it, yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Mhm.
super honest about it. It's just like they value connection over, how did you put
No,
it?
they value
Compatibility?
the idea of being partnered
Mm-hmm.
for the social status that it comes with
Facts.
than who they're actually partnered with.
Mhm.
And they're honest about it to say, I just don't want to be alone. But the quality of that, loneliness, I'm good with it. So long as I'm just not alone. I don't mind. Sorry, the quality meaning it doesn't need to be quality filled. I'm good with just having a partner and we claim each other. That's it.
Gotcha.
It works for some
Interesting.
people,
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
but I don't know if that's necessarily chemistry or core values. I think it's just filling the void of I don't want to be alone. Because
Right.
naturally, going back to what I said earlier, human beings are just relational and we care a lot about what people think. hmm
Right. Right. No, that's a great point actually. Just kind of soaking up what you were saying just now, Halima. I think if if core values and compatibility aren't kind of met together, then it's not really a real relationship.
In depth filled, like an
Yeah.
intentional depth
It's more of an
quality filled
infatuation,
desire,
like you
yes.
said, right?
hmm
And I think that's a very interesting point or interesting separation to make in relationships nowadays because I see that a lot. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that.
Perfect. And I think that's a perfect way to end the episode.
Yay.
Peace.